Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rockland School Committee meeting of Monday, September 27, 2021. First on tonight's agenda is the acceptance of minutes. We'll be looking for 2 motions and 2 votes for minutes. First, we'll be entertaining a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of September 14th, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion?
Oh, a motion. Sorry.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? That is a vote. Thank you. Next up, we have the minutes of the executive session of September 14th, 2021, and we'll be looking for a motion.
A motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Davidson.
And a second?
And a second by Ms. Hennessy. All those in favor? That's a vote. Thank you very much, ladies. Seeing nothing under communications and nothing under audience, we'll move on to item 4, which is reports. And tonight we have the 3 sets of financial reports that will need to be approved. Financial reports reflecting the positions of the school department, high school student activities, and the middle school student activities, both of which for July and August. So we'll be looking to entertain 3 motions for each of them. First of all, we'll be entertaining a motion for the financial reports for the school department for July and August.
Motion.
We have a motion.
And a second?
And we have a second. All those in favor? That is a vote. Thank you. Next, we'll be looking for approval for the high school student activities for July and August.
Motion.
We have a motion.
A second?
And we have a second. All those in favor? Thank you. Lastly, we will be looking for approval for the middle school student activities account. We'll be entertaining a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Davidson.
And a second?
And a second by Ms. Hennessy. All those in favor? That's a vote. Thank you very much. Under old business, we have a COVID update. Dr. Cron, Ms. Hackett.
Yeah, Ms. Hackett, please.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, today, just wanted to give an overview of our vaccination clinics. To date, since August, we have vaccinated 73 individuals at our vaccination clinics. In addition, we have been successful in working with the Commonwealth of Mass to host a walk-in clinic for Saturday, October 2nd from 8 to 11 a.m., again at the Rogers Middle School, and this is open to anyone over the age of 12, and registration is requested, but it is not required. And here is the link. We've mailed it out once, and Town Hall is mailing it out, and we will continue to push the information out, but it is this Saturday, October 2nd, from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Rogers Middle School. It will be the Visor Vaccine, and this is open to anyone over the age of 12. In addition, over the course of the week, it has been approved for employees of public schools who had the Visor vaccine. They are eligible for a booster 6 months after their second dose. Staff has been informed of this and provided appointment links. We have reached out to the state who's running the clinic on October 2nd to see if boosters can be administered on the 2nd. And we're waiting for their response. Our vaccination rates continue to improve. You can see here 12 to 15-year-olds are at 60%, 16 to 19 are at 72%. That's our school-age population. And overall, as a town, we are at 68%, and this is of at least 1 dose. 10% we're waiting to receive their second dose or wait the 2 weeks. And 6% of the 16 to 19-year-olds were waiting for either their 2 weeks post-second shot or for them to have their second shot. So they're 2 to 3 weeks away from their full vaccination status. So this morning, DESE did release additional guidance regarding masks. DESE has extended the mask mandate in all public schools until at least November 1st. They cited that last week was the first week in the Commonwealth that the case activity declined from the previous week. They want additional time during the month of October to determine if this trend continues and if the curve is actually flattening, or if this was a 1 week sort of something unusual. But they want another month to review data on case counts, but we did decline for the first time in several weeks as a Commonwealth. The 80% opt-out option of the masking has also been delayed, but this has only been delayed until October 15th. The rationale here was a little bit different. This was to give communities time to calculate their data on what percentage of their population by building is. And today was the first day that they released the data on how we can calculate that. Kathy Ryan, our head nurse at the high school, is all ready to go, and actually probably is at home working on it as we speak. So we will have our statistics ready for submittal. If we qualify, it would, in our opinion, this is Ms. Ryan and my opinion, that it's based on our vaccination rates, it's going to be close at the high school, on whether or not we're at that 80%, and it is unachievable at all of the buildings. DESE and DPHR are considering other options to opt out of the mask mandate. They mentioned several things, background activity in your community, number of cases within the school, history within the school, and they want the month to review that. Regardless, if you opt out, unvaccinated individuals will be required to continue to mask. And that is it. Happy to take any questions. Yes.
Question. Did they provide any guidance on how, on the last bullet, unvaccinated, you will know if they're unvaccinated? What proof of vaccination is required for those to wear, those kids that still have to wear masks?
They can self-attest, they can submit a card, and or they can submit a photocopy of their card, and qualified individuals who have access to the vaccination database can verify that information.
So for the date of the 15th, as far as I understand it, and read the guidance just came out, if you have reached after that point the 80%, then there is an application and certification process of whether you have reached that 80%?
Correct.
Has there been any information or communication on how long that process will take?
2 days.
2 days, okay.
The state has said it'll take 2 business days and hopefully less, but they're guaranteeing a 2 business day turnaround
Okay.
once the application is submitted.
Any other comments or questions?
Do you have the percent at the high school? You said it was close, but.
We do not. We're estimating that based upon the vaccination rates that I showed you, assuming that the staff is far more, I would say, in the high 90s.
Okay.
We're estimating that the high school staff is pretty close in the high 90s, and if we're in the 70s, it's hard to tell because that 12-15, the 14-15s are in the high school.
Right.
So they don't provide the breakdown by age. They have that category of 12 to 15 and 16 to 18, so that we're around 70% for 12 to 15, but the 14 and 15s at 80%. We're not going to know that data until we manually do it one kiddo at a time.
Mrs. Maroney, a comment or question?
Do we have any overlapping between the middle school and the high school, that the high school would then be unmasked, but the middle school is masked?
Yes.
So how would that affect, would we need to those classes to then
I don't
wear
think
their
it's
mask?
mathematically possible for the middle school to.
They'll never, if the only part of the middle school can even be vaccinated, so, right? But I just
Those are some
wondered.
of the details that we're still waiting for guidance on.
Right.
All the scenarios, what are we going to do if we play a team that's maskless and they come to us? Are they going to have to mask? Or are we going to mask when we go there? There are all kinds of
Right.
questions that we're still waiting for answers for, so
Okay. The kids
that'll
that
be
play
coming.
from 8th grade into freshman and,
Right, shared space in the library,
right, right.
shared space in the auditorium,
That's what I was thinking.
those type of things, will be worked out.
The 8th graders, actually, their art room is right across from the high school office, so it's actually housed in the high school, which was by
Right.
design.
And band.
And band, right. And the
So-
gyms, so it's crossover for sure.
Waiting for guidance seems to be sort of becoming sort of the status quo for the
Right.
environment of what we all exist in 2021. And, I don't know that any of us thought that, October 1st would come and magically masks would be off and everything would be back to business as usual. Nor do I sort of think that, quite honestly, even when we get to the 15th or the 1st further down than that, anything's going to change or that things may not move or adjust further than normal. It's sort of difficult to could know what the heck is going to be coming. But, the good news is, at least from my observation and the hearing, is that the kids coming to school, the staff coming to school have been strong, they've been adaptive, they've been, working through this. I know it's not easy to wear a mask all day long, and I know it's even less easy to have sort of an indefinite future for not only masks, but for sort of all of this, and that's hard and frustrating for everybody, and I know I understand that, but we all keep doing the best that we can and keep going forward within the guidance and rules that we have to live under. Anyone else with questions or comments?
I do have two comments.
Please.
So I'd like to say that I agree with you, and I understand how frustrating and challenging it is when there is no quote-unquote endpoint that we're looking at, but it does seem that with every revision, every couple of weeks, there's more and more details, and we are moving closer to plans, and I think that that is something to focus on. We're all sort of drinking from a fire hose when it comes to this with new information, and I think it's important to realize that people are doing the best that they can with the information provided, and it does seem that there's real progress being made, so I think that is reason to have optimism moving forward. I also just want to thank you for all the work that you're doing with hosting vaccination clinics. I know how much work is involved in that, and I'm just so appreciative of the efforts that you've put in, and making efforts to reach out to make it as easy for our teachers to get their vaccinations and their boosters as possible. I just think I really commend you for all the work that you do for that, so thank you.
Thank you. It's a great team. Kathy Ryan, the staff, it's a wonderful team that we have. Social Hospital, it's been fantastic, and it's no reflection on Social Hospital that we moved away from them to have this one on Saturday with the state. It's because the state is allowed to have walk-ins. Social Hospital is not, because of how they have to account for the vaccines that Social Hospital has. So it's no reflection on Social Hospital that we moved away from them for this clinic.
Jane does deserve our accolades. I've gone into a number of meetings where people have said, "What? You have that up and running already? How long have you had that?" Well, it's because of the person sitting to my right. So, thank you very much, Jane.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the committee? Seeing nothing, we'll move on to the next item. Item 6 under new business is homeschooling. Dr. Cron.
Yes, Dr. Maniglia is here to take any questions, or I don't know if you have a few words you want to say to...
Yes, good evening, everyone. I wanted to just discuss Rockland students that we've received applications from their parents letting us know that their intent is to homeschool their children, again, upon approval from Dr. Cron and our school committee. Currently, we have 41 students, which breaks down to 27 families. And a more explicit breakdown is that we have 2 kindergarten students, 9 grade 1 students, 4 grade 2 students, 4 grade 3 students. We have 3 grade 4 students, 3 grade 5, 4 grade 6, 6 grade 7, 1 8th grader, 2 9th graders, 1 sophomore, 1 junior, and 1 senior that are currently requesting to homeschool their children.
Cost questions, comments from the committee?
This packet seemed big, I'll be honest. Are our numbers up because of COVID? I know last year the numbers were big because of COVID, but now are they still up because of COVID, or am I imagining that they're even up, and this is what was a few years ago?
I don't know, in my opinion, I think it has to do still with COVID. Last year, we had 46 students, this year 41. So I think some parents are still a little bit nervous about their kids coming, and maybe not everybody being vaccinated or them being exposed. Some of the parents that I've spoken with have low immune themselves, so they're concerned about their own health as well. The ones that we received Usually our parents follow Rockland curriculum, that we get the curriculum frameworks from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education that we follow when we're instructing our students. Parents follow that as well, as closely as they can. They usually send into us portfolios now that have quite a bit of samples of the students' work in each content area. I find lately that our students, as well as doing our content like the ELA, the math, the science, the history, they're also involved in some kinds of unified arts like either music or some kind of physical activity outside the house. Many of the families have gotten together so that the students aren't completely isolated, to give them that collaborative discussion, for certain content. Some of our parents have combined direct instruction that they're providing their children with some online instruction. And then at the end of the year, again, they send into the district progress updates, work samples, if kids have taken any kind of assessments, even MCAS, they send us their scores. And I find that over the last couple of years, the portfolios that they share with us are much more rigorous and do follow our curriculum than they had in the past.
And to your point, that's what my next comment was going to be. Is it more, or is it that they're just more detail-orientated and the parents have more options and things out there nowadays that we're getting bigger packets because there's more information? These homeschool packets, I found, in my opinion, were awesome, outstanding. The parents are really engaged and really making sure that their students are home learning. My first couple of years here, there were a few that you were worrying about, that the parents were going to have those resources and in order to keep their kids home and be able to give them the education without sort of getting crazy. But these parents definitely seemed awesome and on the ball. And
like I said, some of them are actual portfolios on binders. They have pictures of the kids, participating in activities or in science if they go to a museum or, actually doing science experiments and those kinds of things, as well as the work itself. So they're much more detailed and, comprehensive.
So, numbers-wise, you mentioned that it was, I think you said 41 this year and 46 last year.
Last year.
Historically speaking, whereabouts
in the
trend
past,
previous to
before
COVID? Yeah.
We had around 26 families.
Okay.
Anywhere from 21 to, students, not families. Anywhere from 21 students to maybe 26. So it did take quite a jump during COVID. It's gone down a little bit, but it's still higher than it was the past years.
Makes sense. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Ms. Davidson?
Do you check in with the students or the families throughout the year besides just getting MCAS reports?
We let them know. We give them my number. My secretaries will touch base with them.
Yep.
That if they need clarification about anything or they, want to ask us any questions, that they have our number and that they can call us, and we would be happy to collaborate with them. And on occasion, parents have.
Oh, that's great. And then, obviously, the numbers have gone up this year, and our enrollment has gone down. Have you ever had the conversation with groups of parents of, this is just because of COVID we're doing this? Or is it, or after COVID and the mask mandate, or whatever their reason may be, are they going to re-enroll in the school?
I'm not sure. It varies year to year, but I will tell you, last year, once we came back full-time in April, I think our elementary kids came back April 1st, if I recall, we did have several students decide, their parents called our, each building administrator and had them come back in person for the remainder of the year. So it varies, sometimes, and sometimes people will do a couple of weeks or a couple of months and then call and decide, maybe when they see that, cases aren't increasing in our district, they feel more comfortable and they will re-enroll. And some people just
This is the way they do it.
would like to homeschool their kids, and they've done it over the past couple of years.
Right.
You know, so I guess it's just
Varies.
whatever their preference is.
Their right to do so.
Right.
Any other questions, comments? All right, with that being said, we'll entertain a motion to approve 41 homeschool applications.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. All those in favor? That is a vote. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up on tonight's agenda, we have fundraisers. We've got quite a few fundraisers that we're here to approve. The pre-K is going to be doing an Otis Spunkmeyer cookie dough drive in September and October. Memorial Park is, the PAC is going to be doing 3 fundraisers: the Fall Dance, Book Fair, and Ice Cream Social, and the Turkey Feather. That sounds fun. Rockland High School Music Booster Club is doing a bottle and can drive. The Travel Club is having 3 fundraisers: the Charleston Wrap and Moon Catalog, Bake Sale, and Prize Calendar. Rockland High School Athletic Department is doing shirts and sweatshirts on the Rockland Athletics website. And the Rockland High School Hockey Boosters are selling hats, blankets, and sweatshirts on the Rockland Athletics web store. Good time of year to start selling that stuff. So we'll be looking to approve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? 10 fundraisers. We're looking for a motion to approve 10 fundraisers.
10 motions?
And we have 10 motions.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. All those in favor? That's a vote. Thanks so much. Next up, item 7 is personnel information for August and September. Dr. Cron, is there anything that you would like to highlight?
No, not exactly. I guess, yeah, there's one, but I'm not seeing her on here. Did we already list her? Donna? Is she listed here?
Not yet, because this is the September, this is the over the summer.
Yeah.
Right, she is not here.
No, she's not on this one. So, no, I'm all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
I could just sort of state that this is over 70 people, and just during the summer, just sort of a shout out, especially during transition year within our office. This is a tremendous amount of work that's done by Donna Capeless, who left, Joan Walsh, Mary Jo, and always treacherous in forgetting someone when you start something like that. But just, central office is not, summer is not a real big vacation time for the personnel folks and payroll folks in the office. So they just did a great job with all these, and I just wanted to thank them, especially during a transitional year.
Thanks very much. Dr. Cron, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I'm going to begin with my last item because it dovetails nicely into homeschooling. One of the things that I'm always concerned about with homeschooling is social emotional health and the importance of socializing. And one of the things that I want to report to this committee and to the public is that in general, since the start of school, we've seen an uptick in behaviors in general. I'm not trying to frighten people, but we're just seeing a general, we've seen it enough now over the first few weeks to say that it's a thing. And I've had conversations with colleagues in districts around the state, and they're also seeing this. And I think it's safe to speculate that we are all coming out of a hibernation period here, and students are learning how to get along with one another and how to interact and how to deal with the pressures of school, social pressures, and the academic pressures. And so we are seeing that, and I want to share that. One of the reasons I want to share that is because I suspect that parents have seen perhaps an uptick in behaviors at home at times. The stress and anxiety caused by the time in which we're living, plus coming back to school and dealing with all of that. So I do want to share with parents that if you are seeing these behaviors at home in an increasing level, it's my opinion that kids act out more at home than they do at school. And so if you're seeing this, don't be surprised, because we're seeing it here at school. And finally, I want to make the giant leap to say that I don't think it's just the kids who are feeling anxious and depressed and having trouble social emotionally these days. I hear a lot more beeping, I see a lot more windows rolling down and finger waving and all kinds of things going on. And I suspect that adults too are struggling with additional anxieties and pressures that are going on. And so I think sometimes just acknowledging that these things are going on is powerful in and of itself. And so I wanted to take a moment in my report just to point out that we see this going on, and we are working very hard to develop a strong social emotional strategy. We have great programs in place pre-K to 12. We will continue to look at those. We're working on partnerships at the state level that we already have in place, but that we plan to strengthen moving forward. And we have, in my opinion, just a phenomenal adjustment counseling, school psych staff throughout the district who are on this and working closely with kids and families. And so I want people to know that we are taking this very, very seriously. But I also know what it's like to sit around the dinner table and to look at one another in the eyes and say, geez, I haven't seen Billy act that way before, or what's going on? And I suspect there's a lot of anxiety going on, and I just think it's to be expected. So I wanted to point that out. Next, I would like to congratulate Dr. Harrison and his staff. Today, they welcomed the NEASC visiting team, and although it's the first day of the visit, it marks sort of a transition period for the staff who's been working on these reports and putting all of this information together for this visiting team. And so I want to congratulate them. I met with the team today. It seems as though things are going extremely well. It's a very reflective process, so it isn't like an outside group comes in and shines a microscope everywhere and tries to find things wrong. It's really more the school community creates its own report, shares it with NEASC, then NEASC comes in and says, okay, here's what you said versus here's what we see, and then they create a report. So it's a very informative process. It's a phenomenal process. I'm a huge fan of NEASC. So I want to congratulate Dr. Harrison and the staff on all the work that I know and time that goes into that. And I'm sure that they'll be relieved. Not that we want the NEASC team to leave. We love having you here, but I'm sure they'll be relieved when the visit is over. Next, I'd like to report, as everyone I'm sure knows, MCAS results were released recently. There is a statewide decline. There was a decline here in Rockland. This should not be a surprise. They are comparing the data, remember please, to almost 2 years ago, the data that was achieved 2 years ago. I also want to remind folks of the many conversations that took place over, should we even give this exam, given the environment that our kids are learning in. So I ask that people be patient with the results. I will say that initially looking at our area, there are many areas that we did extremely well in. I think our data holds up well compared to surrounding districts in the state. So we feel good about that, but obviously there's a number of things that we will take from the data and use it and try to get better. And finally, I just want to again thank Jane and Kathy Ryan and Delshawn Flip for all the work that they've been doing around vaccination clinics, and remind the public that we do have another vaccine clinic scheduled for this Saturday from 8 to 11 at the Rogers Middle School. You can just walk in. You don't even need to sign up. However, if you do want to sign up, I know we have that link available on our website, and it's been emailed out numerous times, but if you need it again, feel free to reach out to the school and we'll get it to you. But because we're working in partnership with the state on this clinic, we're welcoming walk-ins, which is a really big deal. So that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Cron. Any questions or comments for Dr. Cron in his report?
I'll just make one reflection on behavior, and I 100% agree with you on multiple points. So oftentimes with kids, when they're feeling anxious or sad, they're not going to come out and say, I'm sad, and they're not going to cry. They're going to act out, and it's really important to reach out. The adjustment counselors that we have are amazing. I can't stress enough what a valuable resource they are. But also, your child's pediatrician is also a valuable resource, and if you find that you're concerned about their behavior, that's another great place to go. And in situations like that, I would say go to everybody and get as much resources as you can to support these kids, because they've gone through something we've never seen before. And so it's normal to have those sorts of feelings and those sorts of reactions. And then the other comment I was going to make was they often do have those behavior issues more at home because they feel safe at home. They feel loved. They feel that unconditional sort of love and support. And that's why you see it more at home. Not that some people will misinterpret it as their kids behaving more poorly at home because they're mad at them or it's some dynamic, but it's really because they feel safe and loved. So when you're seeing that, that's more a marker of them being in a place where they feel they can externalize their feelings.
Thank you.
Which would lead you to think that some of the uptick in behaviors here at school would be because a lot of the kids feel at home and feel loved and supported right here too.
And feel safe.
Yeah,
They feel safe
absolutely.
with their teachers and
Yeah.
the supports that they have in place.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. So it's tough. I mean, I think, as you said too, Dr. Cron, I think we've all witnessed it, adults. I mean, whether it be, you see the news stories on airlines, you see people in traffic, people at the grocery store, we feel it in ourselves, we feel it in our own homes. I mean, this whole thing's a pressure cooker, and it can be very easily understood why people are sort of feeling this way. And I think it's very important that we recognize it, particularly in our student population and in our kids, when someone might need help, when someone needs to maybe have someone to talk to reach out to the adjustment counselors, or even have discussions with pediatricians. We should have a short leash for that kind of stuff right now. We should really look out for each other, not just our kids, but each other. Any other comments or questions about the report?
I'd like to apologize to the woman at the DMV. Anyway, sorry, just wanted to get that in there.
Very true, very true. All right. Well, after that, public service announcements. We're going to start out with our student representative, Maria.
Very exciting things happening this week. We kicked off Spirit Week today with Comfy Day. You can find the rest of the days on all of the social medias. This weekend are the homecoming game, where Miss Rockland will be announced, as well as the homecoming dance on Saturday, and then there are SATs Saturday morning, which should be very fun. I am partaking in that. There are a lot of fundraisers going on, so participate in those as much as you can. Get some prize calendars for yourself. But that's about it.
How are you feeling about the SATs?
It's my second time taking it, so I think it'll go better than the first time, but just nervous about it.
You know what to
but
expect going in. And
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Great. Dr. Small.
So fall is what I think in New England the most fabulous season. It's beautiful, it's not too hot, there's lots of sports going on, there's lots of activities going on. We're going to have the Fall Festival in Rockland coming up in a couple of weekends. And being outside and doing physical things is also really good for everybody's mental health. So I just recommend everyone take advantage of the good weather before the winter comes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Ms. Davidson.
I would like to give an update on the Phelps Elementary School project. It is on schedule. As of last week, 95% of the steel was complete on the building. You can go onto their website and actually see live photos of the project and the status of that. Meetings are also the third Tuesday of the month, if anyone would like to go and watch as the public, or you can watch them on WRPS. They are in the RHS library. Also, I've been working on the Fall Fest with a small group of Rockland residents that will take place on the 9th of October. We're closing down Union Street, and it'll be from 1 to 5. There'll be touch-a-truck, food trucks, fall crafts, pumpkin painting, live music, and much more. We're also looking for volunteers, so please reach out if you are interested in volunteering for the day. And I look forward to seeing everyone on the 9th.
Thank you very much. Ms. Maroney.
I wanted to talk about Pink Out Day on Friday. At drop-off and pick-up, the number of pink shirts coming in and going out of the school was just amazing. In years past, I don't think there has been as many pink shirts as there was this year. So kudos to all those that planned it, ordered the shirts, and got them all handed out, and kudos to the families that partook in that special day, that it was a great day to show our appreciation and wear our shirts. That's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Hennessy?
Wanted to, I guess, build on all of the vaccine clinics. Just, we got to, well, not got to, but experienced the COVID testing with Jane's help for my little guy. And I want to remind everyone, if you're sick, if you're not feeling well, please use that resource. It is going to hopefully get us to the point where we are not wearing masks. So call your school nurse. It's very easy. It's drive up every day, even on the weekends. It was such an easy thing that I'm thankful that our community and our schools are offering. So thank you again, Jane and Nurse Ryan and Sue O'Brien, everyone that helps with that. I guess building off of Fall Fest on the 9th, long weekend coming up, right? There's no school on the 8th and no school on the 11th, so hopefully everybody gets to enjoy the fall weather, as was already mentioned. So enjoy that, something to look forward to.
Great. Thanks very much. For me, just a couple of events-based things. I had the opportunity with my family to go for second or third time now to the Rockland Farmers Market this weekend, which was just awesome, and I just wanted to thank all the organizers and planners of that. What a great event. We've all everyone sort of hoped for that for a lot of years, to have that come together, something like that in Rockland, and it's really just been well done. A lot of great vendors, and it's been a great summer of having that, so thank you. And then also I wanted to thank the Board of Selectmen and Mr. Lapp for having my friend Pam Murphy and I to their last Board of Selectmen meeting to discuss the bringing back of Rockland's holiday stroll. We weren't able to do it last year based upon what was going on in the world with COVID, but we're really excited to now have the Board of Selectmen's approval and blessing to move forward with hosting the stroll once again here in Rockland. It's a really great event that's been enjoyed for a whole lot of years, and we're looking forward to getting back to do it again. We're going to be looking to take on some new volunteers, so stay tuned in the days and weeks to come about that. And we're also going to be beginning to organize some fundraising to be able to make sure that the event moves forward in the future, so that our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids can continue to enjoy the great event moving forward. So looking forward to that Saturday after Thanksgiving. And then lastly, if anybody has nothing to do this coming up Saturday night, there's really going to be a great fundraiser at Players Restaurant. There's a wonderful family in Rockland here, the O'Brien family, who happens to be really good friends of mine, whose family has once again been touched by breast cancer. And this community and a great group of moms and dads have gotten together to raise some funds to support their family through a particularly tough time. So if you have nothing to do, come on by Players Restaurant on Saturday evening for a lot of great fundraisers and ways to be able to raise some money for a great family. And that's all I got. So after that, seeing nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion,
Second.
and we have a second. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.